All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really chilling story. It's about a family, a new home, and, well, a curse that's been waiting almost a century to wake up.
So here's the big question at the heart of this whole thing. Imagine your family is getting a fresh start. You move into this huge old government bungalow. They call them Dak Banglas, but part of it is totally abandoned. What happens when that new beginning accidentally stirs up a curse that's 90 years old? Yeah, they were looking for a fresh start, but what they found instead was a nightmare that had been patiently waiting. So let's get right into it.
And at the center of this story is the youngest daughter, Vinny. We're talking about a complete, terrifying transformation. Before this all starts, she's your typical happy, vibrant teenager. But then, one single moment, and she becomes a total shell of herself. It's absolutely chilling.
So where does this all begin? Well, like a lot of these stories, it starts with a warning. A warning that, of course, was tragically ignored.
Okay, so the family shows up at their new home, and they're met by this elderly caretaker, a woman named Amma. And she tells them, hey, just take care that the kids don't go into that other part of the bungalow. Real cryptic, right? She doesn't explain why, leaving them completely in the dark about the real danger inside.
And you know how kids are. Vinny's playing, she ends up in that forbidden section, and she finds this locked door. There's a sacred thread tied to it, but she breaks it and forces her way in. The second she's inside, she's hit with this awful smell and a thick, choking smoke. That's the last thing she remembers. Her family finds her passed out on the floor. And right there, that's the moment everything changes. That's where the transformation begins.
So to really understand what's happening to Vinny, we've got to rewind, like way back, 90 years. Because this isn't some random spirit, this is history, a really dark history repeating itself. This is where Amma, the caretaker, finally spills the beans. She tells them this absolutely horrifying story. So 90 years ago, some local emperor uses an ancient book to summon a powerful jinn, a supernatural entity, to basically be his magical servant. Well, the jinn was not having it. It refused and ended up slaughtering the emperor and everyone else in the place. For decades, it just lay dormant in that sealed room. Then Amma's family moved in, and the jinn woke up and possessed her little sister, a 13-year-old named Resham. They brought in a powerful mystic, a tantric, who did manage to trap the jinn in a box, but it was too late for Resham. She died.
Okay, so what did this jinn even want? This is where it gets really fascinating. It wasn't just about random chaos or evil. See, the book used to summon it basically acted like an invitation. And it promised the jinn the one thing it couldn't have in its own world, a female companion, something called an ifrit. So, when the jinn saw young Resham, it thought, there she is, my Afrit. It possessed her, trying to, well, create a life with her, which led to her getting pregnant with some kind of demonic entity. But a human body just can't handle that. So even though the tantric trapped the jinn, the damage was done. Resham died. The jinn was locked away, but its goal, its desire, that didn't go anywhere.
All right, so let's jump back to the present. Vinny's family has no idea about any of this backstory. All they know is that their daughter is in trouble. So they begin this desperate, terrifying fight against that exact same entity. So their first move is to call in a Muslim tantric. He gives them some blessed ashes, and when they sprinkle them, Vinny actually smiles for the first time in months. So there's this little glimmer of hope, right? The tantric comes back, super confident he can handle this, ready to do a full exorcism. But the moment he confronts her, Vinny's voice changes, it becomes this deep male voice, and she just looks at him, and the tantric collapses. He has a massive stroke right there. So yeah, their first attempt doesn't just fail. It shows them exactly what they're up against, something incredibly powerful.
And during that confrontation, right before the tantric collapses, the jinn, speaking through Vinny, makes its intentions terrifyingly clear. It basically says, you think you're going to take my ifrit from me? I'll send you away from this world. It sees Vinny as its new ifrit, the replacement for Resham, and it's not going to let anyone get in its way.
So at this point, all hope seems lost. They're completely out of options. But then, an ally comes from a place they never ever would have expected. And this ally holds the key to fighting back.
Okay, get this. During a moment when the jinn's hold on Vinny weakens, another spirit possesses her body, just for a moment. It's the ghost of Resham, the jinn's first victim. Her spirit has been trapped in that house for decades, and she sees what's happening to Vinny is exactly what happened to her.
And through Vinny,
Resham's ghost reveals everything. She warns them he wants to make Vinny like me. She confirms the jinn's plan is to create a demonic child. But crucially, she tells them there is a way to stop it. The solution, the counterspell, is in the same ancient book that was used to summon the jinn in the first place.
And this is the moment that changes the game completely. As Resham's ghost is speaking, that very same ancient book literally materializes in the room. Its pages start turning all by themselves, stopping on the one ritual they need to banish the jinn. Suddenly, they have a weapon. They have a chance, one final desperate chance to save Vinny.
All right, this brings us to the final battle, the last-ditch exorcism. And let me tell you, it builds to an incredibly dramatic and just heartbreaking conclusion.
The key to the whole ritual comes down to this one number, 108. The instructions from Resham's ghost were crystal clear. The whole family has to chant a specific Arabic mantra together 108 times. And the most important part? They cannot stop. No matter what they see, no matter what they hear, they cannot break the chant.
So they start chanting. And as they do, the jinn physically manifests in the room. It is furious. And to try and make them stop, it starts brutally torturing Vinny's body right in front of them. We're talking about her arms twisting backwards, blood pouring from her ears, just unimaginable things, all designed to break their concentration and force them to stop the ritual.
But they don't stop. They keep chanting. And on the 108th repetition, the jinn lets out this final, terrible scream and is banished. The demonic pregnancy inside Vinny just vanishes. Her body, the physical injuries, they slowly heal. But her mind is just gone. The ordeal completely shattered her. The vibrant, laughing girl they knew is gone forever. They got her body back, but they paid an awful price.
You'd think the story ends there, right? A tragic victory, but a victory nonetheless. But no. Years later, her brother finds her up on the roof. Her head is covered just like it used to be when she was possessed, and she's smiling. Smiling this really eerie smile at a smoky, vaguely human-like figure that's just floating in the air in front of her.
And that's where the story leaves us. Not with a neat resolution, but with this absolutely terrifying implication. They banished the jinn, they paid the ultimate price to do it, but maybe, just maybe, some bonds can't ever really be broken. It leaves you wondering, can you banish an entity like that, but never truly escape its shadow?